welcome to another exciting episode of Exceptional Living with Dr. April Ripley. I am your host, and every episode we purpose to bring you life-changing concepts, insights, tactics, and proven tools from local and global leaders, innovators, experts, hyphenate creatives, and local and global change agents that will equip and empower you for credible influence, distinguishable competency, and indelible impact. Did you know that in a world where one is conditioned to fit in, you, yes, you, were designed to stand out? So welcome to Exceptional Living. I am so excited about my guest today that I have to calm down a little bit and tell you more about him. Tim Storey is an acclaimed author, speaker, and life coach, helping people to create the future they desire. He has inspired people from all walks of life, from entertainment legends to professional athletes, from executives to deprived children throughout the world, using seasoned foundational principles and humor to get honest with people so they can overcome the obstacles that are holding them back. Tim has traveled to over 75 countries and spoken to millions of people. He often meets privately to counsel high-profile leaders in various industries. Tim has partnered with phenomenal organizations to spread love and hope, spending time with the Fred Jordan Missions in Los Angeles' Skid Row, Music Unites Day in Los Angeles' Compton Schools, and Kids Haven Orphanage in Johannesburg, South Africa. Tim is featured on nationally syndicated Keep the Faith Radio every weekend, providing short inspirational moments, and is featured on Steve Harvey TV Facebook Live weekly. He was a featured guest on Oprah's Super Soul Sunday, Steve Harvey TV, Grant Cardone's 10X Growth Conference, and many more. Tim has authored several books, and the most recent, Come Back and Beyond, but the top seller, The Miracle Mentality, here it is. Don't forget to get your copy, but he's going to talk to us about it. So, Exceptional Living, please welcome our guest, Tim Storey.
What a privilege. Coming to you from my beautiful backyard.
I love it. At sunny California, here in Atlanta. Isn't this great that we're able to have this platform?
It's amazing. But I have a question for you. You talked about local leaders and worldwide. Am I local or worldwide?
You are global. You are local. So you're global and local. And I love it because you have to have both perspectives now, right? So yes, you are a global leader, certainly a thought leader and a multi-hyphenate creative. And I am honored to have you on our program today. This program is all about how to live an exceptional life, one that is beyond expectation, one that is exceptional. And so I could think of no other guest but you. So thank you.
I love what you're doing, and I love your intro. Whoever put that intro together.
Thank you so much. So thank you so much. You know, one of the things that I really loved about your work is that you also reach across the aisle and across borders to bring talent together that may not just be in the United States. And so speaking of that intro, it was done by an amazing talent out of the Caribbean. And much of the work of the Inc., which is also kind of a network that I started, that's what we purpose to do, reach across borders and work together collaboratively. But here we are with Dr. Tim Storey. So Tim, this story is about, or I should say this episode is about how to live an exceptional life. How do you do that? How do you live an exceptional life?
Number one, it's a great question and a great subject. I think to live an exceptional life is truly to line up with who you were created to be. And so a lot of people have different thoughts and ideas, but the way I think about life is that we're made in the image of God. And, you know, God he is omni, he is powerful, he is supernatural, he is creative. And so I think that when you want to live an exceptional life, if you align yourself with the one who created you, then you will flow into that alignment and that exceptional life will begin.
Absolutely. But, you know, I think for many people, it is, how do I discover who I am? What God purposed me to be? Why was I created? And how does one find that?
Well, I would say the answer would be with your other uncle, and that is Dr. Miles Monroe, who is the best at teaching on purpose. And his
Absolutely.
famous quote, as you know, is life without a purpose is just an experiment.
Mm.
But again, I do believe that your purpose, or as I wrote in my book called The Good Idea or The God Idea, I believe the purpose or the God idea is innate. I believe that while you were in your mother's womb, that God spoke over you. And I say this to people that are Christian or non-Christian, that you've been spoken over. And in one of my interviews I did with Oprah, she really liked this idea where she says, Tim, you talk about we've all been spoken over. Yes, sure enough, that your dream is inside of you. It is deep within your soul, and your dream has a voice, and that voice has been talking to you and wanting you to let that dream out.
Ooh, I love that. Your dream has a voice. So when I think about a voice, right, it's something that's spoken, but it's also something that has to be heard.
Yes. And so I think that in the midst of such loud living, there's too much loud living. People wake up and they look for noise. They go to sleep many times in noise, that they don't take time to do what I've been teaching for years, and that is to stop, look, and listen. So when you stop and you look and you listen, it's amazing the things that you pick up that have been said for a while. It's almost like if you pick up your phone and you can sometimes say, oh no, I missed a text from 4 hours ago because it was lost in all the other text. I believe that a lot of great ideas are lost in the busyness of the day.
So stop, look, and listen, and look out for the busyness, right? We talk about mind the gap. You've been to the UK several times, and if you're going on the tube, right, there's this thing that says mind the gap. And what you talk about is sometimes we don't mind the gap, our ear gates, our eye gates, and just what's around us. They're clues to who we are and our purpose that are around us. Tell us a little bit about, as you say, little Timmy's story. And how did you get to Oprah's Soul Sessions?
Yeah, I think that, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, he who works his land shall have an abundance. And I'm a person who works his land. And working your land is whatever's in front of you. If you're in the 7th grade, work your 7th grade land. If you're a single mother, work your land. Whatever you do, work your land. So when I was a dishwasher at age 15 and a half, I was like the best dishwasher I could be. So the way I've gotten onto all these platforms, 77 countries of the world now, is that I work my land, and I became very good at turning people's setbacks into comebacks. And so people begin to call me the comeback coach. And I began to be a comeback coach to people in sports. Then it went into entertainers, and then it went to the world. So I just became very good at something, and I worked that skill set, and then that skill set brought me to beautiful places.
I love that. Work your land, right? In Proverbs, scripture tells us that a man's gift makes room for him and brings him or her into the presence of the great, to those who have influence.
And that's what I think happened to me, but it's happening to you. So I never looked to be the life coach to the stars. And a lot of people are now trying to do that. But I never looked for any of this. I just was continuing to work my land, which I do to this day. I'll speak to a crowd of 3 people.
Like who you are at the core. And
April, that comes down to the purpose. And when you find your purpose, you don't want everybody else's purpose. So I get to be around a lot of really skilled people all the time. In fact, this is funny because there's a director by the name of Tim Storey. And so Tim Storey gets some of my emails and some of my mails over the years. And I get people emailing me and mailing me back in the day, trying to get in my movies, which at that point I was not doing movies. And so Tim and I are about to have dinner in a couple of weeks. But it's a funny thing because I love this other Tim Storey. He's cool. He's done great movies like Barbershop and Think Like a Man or Think Like a Woman, whatever that movie was, and X-Man. but I like being this Tim Storey. I don't want to be that Tim Storey because I'm already this Tim Storey.
Again, every time you say something, you're definitely dropping like nuggets, because once you know what your purpose is, you're in your lane and you're focused on that. And I've heard you say, you're the front mirror, the front window of your car is much bigger than even the two that are on the side to see who's in the other lanes coming behind you. You're focused on, this is where I know
that's a big one. So Dr. April, that's a big one, because like the conference I'm about to go to and speak to all these people, they're saying that it's going to be like full of these very powerful people that will be there. And a lot of them will come in airplanes, their own airplanes. But I'm going to come on either United's airplane or Delta or somebody's airplane, but not my own. And I'm totally okay with that. And so it's very important to just be your authentic self and do what life has put in front of you.
I love that. Be your authentic self. And that is really what people are looking for. They want to know, who is the Tim Storey? And I remember that because a few people said to me, is that Tim Storey, the movie? I was like, no, this is the Tim Storey, right? He's in a class all by himself. So you can't compare. But your book, this latest book that you have, The Miracle Mentality, which is amazing. You've been on Good Morning America with this book, still traveling. What is a miracle mentality?
The miracle mentality is, a mentality, as you teach, is a mindset, frame of mind, disposition, point of view. So we all have a mentality. And so the thing about the mentality is you better really have the right mentality, because it could take you to the wrong place if you do not have the right mentality. So that's a mentality. And the miracle side, a miracle is something uncommon, not normal, not regular. So the miracle mentality is about attaching the miracle mentality to every part of your life.
Attaching the miracle mentality to every part of your life.
So you have the miracle mentality in your job, miracle mentality in your finances, miracle mentality in your relationships, miracle mentality in the creative side of yourself. I think sometimes people just think the miracle mentality, the creatives that are like creating shows or art, but no, you can have the miracle mentality in parenting.
You can have the miracle mentality. Repeat that one more time for us. You can have it even
in parenting. If you are a parent, you can bring the miracle mentality into the way you rear your children. And the opposite of the miracle mentality is to be someone who thinks regular, status quo, and regular. So come on, all you people watching, you don't want to be regular.
No.
I posted something the other day. I said, I don't even buy regular gas.
That's right. So everything about you is not. But so you're saying that we really were created not to be regular. We are special, extraordinary. We are a miracle in motion. I've heard you say that.
Yes.
We are a miracle in motion.
A little kid, like let's say a boy, and he's playing with a toy. It's always Superman, Spider-Man, Iron Man. It's never Loser Man. A kid does not want to play with Loser Man.
No, we don't. And interesting that you say that, because some of the highest grossing movies, right, are always about superheroes and sheroes that have these extraordinary powers that oftentimes they don't discover until a moment of crisis.
Ooh.
Right?
I like that. That's almost a good segue.
Yeah. They discover themselves in a moment of crisis. And then something happens.
Yes, because a crisis can bring courage. So if you have courage inside of your soul, a crisis will activate the courage. It's very powerful.
It is.
If you don't get up and want to fight, then you're missing some courage. You need to get some courage in there, because a crisis will activate courage. The crisis looks for courage.
I love that. Crisis looks for courage. But come on, Dr. Storey. I mean, there are times when you can't, it's hard to find that courage in the crisis, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's hard to find it if you start looking around, but if you look within, boom, there it is.
There it is.
Come on.
There's my S. There's my Superwoman vest.
Exactly.
Right?
No,
yeah.
for real, I'm really not joking. So let's say a person is diagnosed with an illness and that crisis just comes on them. The first response is to get intimidated, overwhelmed. But once you calm down, something in you starts to rise up and say, that illness is not going to beat me. I'm not ready to go yet. Oh, yeah. The crisis activates courage. In fact, the crisis calls for courage.
The crisis calls for courage.
Oh, calls for courage. And then courage picks up the phone.
Hello.
And delivers.
Overnight Express, instant download.
It's very powerful, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. It is. Because many of the people that we admire in history are those who were in a crisis, who mustered the courage. Maybe it wasn't really there, but maybe they just said, you know what, I'm going to do it afraid. I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah. Without knowing all that's to happen necessarily on the side. I'm going to give it my best with what I have inside.
Well, we're seeing that right now with the situation in Ukraine, where people who are civilians are finding a way to be courageous. And when you look at the news and you see a 71-year-old woman, and who in this case happens to be a grandmother, and she is saying, give me a rifle, I'm ready to fight for my country. The crisis that was not there, just weeks before is now there, and the crisis is activated her courage.
That's powerful too. And I've seen these stories. We're not making puns here today by talking about stories. And also to that other end, there are persons who are protesting what is happening.
Yes.
So our news certainly is showing what's happening in Ukraine, but there are also people who know that their life could be at stake by speaking out against what they're against. And so they are mustering another side of courage as well.
No doubt about it, because of their truth. So whatever the truth is, I think the truth is really connected to courage. And you saw that obviously with Martin Luther King, that because of his truth, there was something very courageous about his words, courageous about his actions. And he was willing to lay his life down if necessary. But when you have a truth inside you that you know, I think that it does also activate courageous movements and actions.
Absolutely. And speaking of Dr. King, we'd also hear Dr. Monroe say that you have not found something to live for until you found something that you're willing to die for.
Yeah, so that's good for the people that are watching. Do you guys have something to die for?
Yeah.
There's something that is worth being courageous for, whether it's your children or your marriage or your country or your people or your tribe or nation. What do you have that you want to be courageous for?
Yeah. And when we talk about dying for, we don't mean just, our lives, but also look at it as a sacrifice. All the work that you do, you are here today sharing with us what you've learned, what you've applied in your life, the good things and the lessons learned, the hurdles. And so that also is a part of kind of dying to self, that you're willing to take your time, your talent, and even your treasure to invest in other people as you have, from books to your traveling to speaking to the hours difference, flight time. That also to me is being courageous and willing to die to your own self in order to help others. And that's really what our faith rests upon.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But as you know, I see it as a complete privilege because before that, I was just a disco dancer in high school. Then I decided to go to seminary, and then I moved on and then got a doctorate. And then they realized I had a gift to communicate. And then I started communicating. And then here I am. So what a privilege. Otherwise, I probably would have been in the entertainment business, which I still am now, but I would have been just solely in that, or I would have been in fashion.
Well, so to that point, you are in entertainment and you are fashionable.
I am fashionable.
You are fashionable, right?
Yeah.
But I love that you said you're a communicator. So
I'm
that's
a communicator.
Not
a normal one. A very good
normal one, but it's multifaceted. So you communicate as you with us today. You communicate through your publications, through production, through the investments you make. So there's a lot of different facets of communication. Film.
Yes, I'm doing film, documentaries. Wow. I'm working on a Broadway play. I have 2 TV shows that should hit this year. I have a new show that's going to be in 90 airports of the world. I'm the first person doing an airport talk show. I start filming that literally next week. But I think it's all about communication. But I'll tell you a secret of Dr. April. What I used to do when I was younger is I would take a book and I'd read it out loud. So at 12, 13, 14 years of age, I was reading out loud to work on my diction. And I never knew that being a person that was working on his diction would get me to all these places.
Ooh, that's good too, because even as we're going along our journey, we have to keep progressing and learning and growing, making some changes and adjustments. And so for you, talk to us about
growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset. Great work by an amazing writer on the fixed mindset versus growth. But, you got to have a growth mindset to be alive in this life, because now we got crypto, we got Bitcoin, we got NFTs. People, y'all better pay attention. You can't just go like that because it's coming at you. You're going to try to spend your dollars in just a couple of years, and you might have to pay in another currency. So the world is changing.
Yes. And to that, you talk about dollars, like physical, tangible, if we held on to them. But now with just the tap of our phones, there's digital currencies.
Yes.
Right? So you've got digital, crypto, blockchain, NTF. Everything is changing.
Everything's changing. I mean, I went into a restaurant in Nashville not so long ago, and the guy said to the guy who was parking his car, "Oh, I'll Zelle you the money." I'm like, just give him $5.
Right. Or even best, it's like, okay, take your phone and you can scan their little QRC and give them a tip and give everything. So no money changes hands.
Exactly.
We never had thought that. So woe to those who have their dollars under their mattresses.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You see people at Starbucks and they don't pull out money. They just go like this with their phone.
Like my sister. Yeah. Tap, tap. She's like, what are you doing? And she's like, get with it. I'm like, okay, sis, I got you, right? Everything's in the phone. You tap. I mean, there's a lot of that's happening. And so I think, to your point, being willing to learn, to unlearn and relearn some things are all a part of this miracle mindset that you're talking about.
Yes.
And really the key to living a life that goes beyond. And
I think if, in all fairness, I think that to everybody listening, if you just would allow yourself to become awake, take inventory of where you're really at physically, mentally, clarity of your mind, the strength of your mind, your job, your finances, your family, your social life. If you become awake, take inventory, you then have to partner with the right people. So make sure you partner with the right people, and out of partnering with the right people, you can come up with the right principles. And then the right principles will lead you to the right plan.
Ooh, partner with the right people.
Get the right principles.
And then it'll lead you to the
right plan.
Right plan.
Yeah, people are trying to get the right plan without partnering with the right people and having the right principles. You have the wrong principles, you got the wrong plan. You gotta have the right principles, you get the right plan. It's easier than we make things sometimes.
Mm-hmm. That's powerful. I'm taking this in. because it's really important who you partner with.
I mean, that's what I do with entertainers. Like many times when I meet these entertainers, I could see what their problem is. It's the people they have around them.
Mm.
You got to take that back, get the right people involved that have a similar mindset and similar motives.
That's important. So my great grandmother used to say the birds of a feather flock together, right? We talk about the law of association. John Maxwell talks about that. You'll become like those.
Yes.
Where you hang. So there is truth to that. So if you want to go beyond, if you want to change where you are now, you've got to get around the orbit of the right people.
Proverbs 13:20 says, if you walk with the wise, you'll stack up more wisdom.
Love it.
If you spend time with fools, your life will unravel.
Mm.
I don't want my life to go, hey. I wanted to go, what? See, so
wait, you have to do that one again. You don't want your life to go where?
What?
Hey.
I want to go, what? Now, hey, what?
That I love. You could go into class to teach the kids. You don't want your life to go,
hey.
Oh, hey.
What? I never done that. This is cool. Look at me now.
See, look at you now. Look at you now. Look at you now. Uh-oh. Can I?
Never done that. I'm going to start doing that. I'm not kidding. That's so cool.
I love it.
Don't let your life go. It's supposed to go.
That's right. But even when
there are certain people that both of us know that make our lives go. That's why we don't talk to them as much and we can't go having big old long lunches.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, you're seeing it here live. Tim Storey, who has come up with the right, and I love if you've never seen him in person.
Better than the Dougie. It's better than the Dougie.
It's better than Dougie. I encourage you to follow him at Tim Storey Official, because even when you speak, you do have that. So there is that communication.
I have moves.
Also gesture. It's amazing. It's amazing. What can I say? As we come to a close, which we don't want to, but yes. all good things sometimes come to an end. What would the man you are today say to the boy you were?
Slow down. Yeah, when I was in my 20s and early 30s, man, my pace was too fast. And I almost thought that like what I had was going to go away. I would say slow down, and that I'm not a human doing, but you're a human being, and so be. And enjoy that your body is young, that your mind is young, and your energy is young, because someday, and I'm not there yet, but you're going to be like 70 years of age, 80 years of age, 90 years of age. So slow down. That's what I'd say.
Slow down. Take your time.
Yeah, live your life, not go through life. Love it.
Live life. Don't just go through.
That's what I'm doing now. That's why you see all the sun coming on me.
I love it. Absolutely.
I got beams.
I see it. And your life is going how?
Like any other guest you bring on all season, watch. They will not have these sunbeams coming.
They won't. You're already a standout. And so again, thank you so much. Any just closing thoughts?
I'm proud of you, and I love your family.
Thank you.
One of my favorite families in the world, and Dr. April Ripley. Keep on following her. To a lot of the followers of Tim Storey that are watching this interview today, keep watching what she's doing. Get involved with her conferences because she's changing people's lives.
Thank you so much. It has been an honor and a privilege. Thank you for reminding us that we were created with the miracle mentality, and greatness is within each of us. And certainly that even in the sting of a setback, God has already ordained our comeback. Thank you so much, Dr. Storey.
Thank you.